Hello there and welcome to our first podcast. My name is Tony Barlow. I'm here with my wife Ingrid.
Hello.
And we have a small business called BarlowRoots. We're recording from our homestead in Hudson, Wisconsin, which is in the western part of the state near the Twin Cities. And since this is our first podcast, we're just going to start out by introducing ourselves a little bit.
So we have 3 children. A 6-year-old boy, 4-year-old boy, and an almost 2-year-old girl. And I spend most of my days hanging out with them. I have the privilege of getting to homeschool them. It's our first year doing that, so never thought I would be, but am thankful for that journey. And I also have a sewing business. You can find me at ingridbarlow.com and thehandmadegirl.com. So I have fun just trying new things. Today I made maple syrup for the first time, and so I just get myself into all sorts of, fun adventures. So anyways, ingridbarlow.com is where I talk about homeschooling, and Handmade Girl is where I talk about makings of all sorts.
And I am a consultant. I work in the healthcare field by day, and it's a family business that I'm a part of. Just help manage the business there. And I'm also starting a small business. I've developed a planner journal for hunters. So just a way for hunters to organize and keep track of everything they do in the hunting world and kind of journal out their hunts to keep track of things. So excited about that project, just getting that started. And then also, of course, we both work a lot on our homestead, and we've been trying to grow that. So we've been where we are in Hudson. We actually both grew up in Hudson, but we moved back 3 years ago, 4 years ago,
5 years ago,
4 or 5 years ago, and just came into a property that we were really blessed to come into. It's actually the neighboring 10-acre parcel to where I grew up on a 10-acre parcel, and my parents still live there. So we have the adjoining properties to my parents and 20 acres combined. Our chunk of the property is mostly heavily wooded, but thankfully on their side they've got some open pasture ground, and that's where we've begun our orchard and garden. We have 16 tart cherry trees that we've gotten going that are going pretty well. And then just in the past couple of years, we've planted some apple trees that we're working on too. So We've had limited success.
Yeah, we've tried pears and peaches, and might still have a few of those out there.
Yeah. We planted those like the fall before we had one of the hardest winters we've had in a long time. So they didn't have a lot of luck. We garden in the spring, summer, and fall, and I've really enjoyed learning that process. I've just started implementing a no-till heavy mulch garden. We started that last year, and last year was a big learning year for us with that. But this year, we're excited. We've got some new plans and are really looking forward to what we can grow and develop this year as well.
Have you always had an interest in this gardening thing?
I've always kind of had an interest in farming.
Okay.
But I think we've both kind of come into that, and our goal is just to be more sustainable.
Yeah.
Grow more of our own food.
Yeah. I would say the first couple years of the garden, it was just we weren't even really thinking about selling it, but then you just have so much produce left over that's kind of when the idea to start the small business of BarlowRoots started. As there were a lot of people with interest in it, and just curiosity, and so, but we've always kind of said that the main purpose of the garden is to provide for ourselves, and then to sell, the excess.
Yep. So
I would say, the tomatoes is a good example. We always grow a ton of tomatoes because we do a lot of salsa and tomato sauces and that sort of thing for canning. And the first year we went all out and did tons of different heirlooms, and it was so fun and it was so cool to discover and try these new things. And then the next year we thought, you know what, we have a hard time selling tomatoes that aren't just red.
People weren't the customers we had coming to the farm stand. It was a hard sell to sell them purple and yellow and orange tomatoes, unique, or wrinkly tomatoes, or oblong San Marzano tomatoes.
And I guess, it would be nice to just be able to sample all of them, so that, because you just want to say, no, these taste way better, but that's hard to do.
Yeah. And so then this last year we tried to plant more red round ones and had limited success with that too. Yeah. So now we're just going to plant what we want to plant.
Yeah, we're going back. So, we just lost some of its fun a little bit, I think.
Yeah, it's cool to have the different colored fruit for sure.
I'm really excited this year about planting their tiny little tomatoes called currants, and they are a pain in the butt to pick because they're like the size of your pinky.
It's like a blueberry.
Yeah. But they are so good, and I think they'll just be awesome on salads. And so that's one of the tomato varieties that I'm really excited about trying this year.
Yep. We should probably say what time of year. We are in the spring of the year here.
It's March.
It's March.
So dreams and hopes are high. Mm-hmm. Come ask us in August, and it might be a different story.
Yeah, but this year, for the first time, we built a nursery, what we call a nursery. So a little, pretty small room, but bigger than the little space in our kitchen that we were using where we are doing our seed starting. So we've got room for 14 trays at least of seedlings. And we actually ended up finding, through a friend who manages a hotel, a ton of light banks for free. And so we have used those to illuminate. And Ingrid just started seed starting this last week.
Yeah. So it's a room that's like 4 feet wide maybe by 15 feet long. Just enough room for kind of one person to be working in there. And so few days ago, probably 4 days ago now, I started the first of the seedlings. I was going to wait and do peppers for a while, and then I was like, I'm just going to start the peppers. I am a little bit maybe too, sometimes I need a more strict plan for myself. I get a little off-road sometimes. But I did all the peppers, and so we have kind of a nice mix of bell peppers, and then some spicy, some hot peppers, some, what am I thinking of, the long and Anaheims. Some Tony wants some of the little sweet peppers that you like stuff appetizer wise. Mm-hmm. So it'll be fun. Banana peppers, a good variety in there. So we did peppers and some of the herbs that take a little bit longer. Rosemary, thyme, lemon balm. And also, I did some flowers. Mm-hmm. We kind of feel like adding more flowers each year. So that'll be fun to try. I mean, gardening is just, sometimes one year something will work, and then the next year you're going to try the same thing and it doesn't work. And I think that's kind of the allure of gardening, is that it's just constantly changing and you're constantly learning.
Yeah, lots of trial and error.
Yeah. So right now we're about 9 weeks out, which is kind of early for seed starting, but I don't know. Yeah, we're going for it. So
yeah, we've had a really early spring this year, so it kind of pushes you to get out there and do stuff. But we won't plant up here in Wisconsin. We won't plant until probably near the last weekend of May. Yeah, mid to late May is when we'll get tomatoes in the ground. We did a little hoop house for the first time last year, and that worked pretty well. It extended our season in the fall, so we'll try that again.
A hoop house it's basically just plastic over PVC is what we used.
Yep, and it basically creates a little greenhouse and can extend your growing season.
It's movable.
Yep, so we'll try that, and just get that excited to get going, and start planting again.
Yeah. St. Patrick's Day, I'll start tomatoes. March 17th?
Mm-hmm.
And I think then that kind of week I'll throw in some other things too. So that's the
garden.
That's the garden. We also have chickens and ducks year-round. And we got chickens right away the first spring that we had our house here, and have loved having backyard chickens. I don't know. I mean, I see us having them for a long, long time. Yeah. They're just so easy, and it's so nice just to always have eggs on hand.
Yep. We've got 12 of them.
Yep.
12 of them out there right now. We've had as many as probably 30. At times, and so this year we're ordering another dozen. Our first round of layers are kind of coming down as far as how many eggs they're laying, and so another 12 to 15. And then we had last spring we got some ducks, egg-laying ducks too. We had 5 runner ducks and 2 Khaki Campbell ducks, and we still have the 2 Khaki Campbell ducks. The runner ducks were not my favorite. They were exactly like their name. They were just runner ducks, and all they did was run. And they were terrified and very hyperactive and skittish, and you can't get close to them. So
yeah, they just weren't very much fun. I don't know.
So we found a nice gentleman and sold those to him.
And actually, of the 5, 2 of them.
Yeah, 2 of them were drakes.
2 of them were males. Which, the hatchery catalogs always tell you they're about 90% accurate. That, you're going to get all females if that's what you request.
Yeah. One time we bought 10, we bought 10 pullets from a local farm.
Yeah.
And I think 6 of them.
Yeah.
6 of them were roosters.
I tell you what, this whole homesteading thing, I mean, that's been a learning.
Yeah, just a lot to learn. But it's fun. We just take it slow, piece by piece, and learn as we go. YouTube is big tool for us for learning. So, and then last year, also on the poultry front, we did 10. Was it 10 or 15? No, 8. It was ducks? 8 Pekin ducks. Yeah. So we did 8 Pekin ducks in a chicken tractor, which is basically just a movable chicken coop that we can just drag along the ground, and then every day the ducks or the chickens or whatever's in there has fresh grass and bugs to eat on. So you move that daily, and so we had 8 Pekin ducks early last year. We butchered those, and then we replaced those in the chicken tractor with, was it 25 broiler chickens, which were called Cornish cross, and it's just the standard chicken that you buy. Meat chicken. Standard meat chicken. Yep. So they go from tiny babies 1 day old when you get them to little fluffy poof balls to in 8 weeks they're full grown, and we had several over 8 pounds.
I was gonna say closer to 10. We had, I don't know what it was. We had huge birds.
Yeah, 8-pound chickens. So I think standard at the grocery store is 3 or 4.
I don't know
either. But
they talk about sometimes your meat chickens like that, since they grow so fast, have trouble with their legs. They cannot. They get too heavy for their legs.
Yeah. And
we thankfully have never had.
Well, I think a big part of that is the chicken tractor.
Yeah.
It forces them to move around and use those legs, and so I put a lot of. I think that helps a lot because we've never had those issues.
Yeah.
And so. Yep, and I think we only lost 1 last year. So we've had really good luck with that. And then last year, for the first time, we did pigs.
Yay!
Which was that's a big step from chicken. Chickens are so easy, and then chickens are easier than a dog.
Yes, amen.
And then you go to pigs, which is a big step, but not a huge step. So we bought 2 pigs in April from a local gal who breeds a heritage breed called Hereford hogs, and they look just like Hereford cattle. So they're red all over with a white face and white socks, white boots on the base of their feet. And then, so we got 2. When they came home, they were like 20 pounds, maybe 20 or 30 pounds.
They fit under your arm.
Yep, like a puppy. And I shouldn't relate those two.
That's terrible.
So we had some adventures with them, learned a lot with them. They got out a couple times. At least the first time they got out was pretty terrifying because they were clueless and they were brand new. So first day here, wasn't it?
Yeah. So after you have them for a while, they get used to your voice and they they know that when you do a certain call that you have food for them, and so they come to you. But when they got out the first time, I mean they're in panic mode. They don't know where they are.
Yep. So second time they got out and they came back to the call, which was really nice.
Yeah.
But we then trained them on electric fence, and they never even once they were trained on the electric fence, which the way you do that is you just have a solid barrier in front of the electric fence, so they know that if they get shocked, they don't run forward and through the fence, but they turn around and run backwards. And then once you do that, once they figure it out, all we had was 2 strands. I mean, they could have stepped right through it.
Yeah.
And 2 strands of electric wire around the perimeter of our pasture, and they stayed in. They never even got close to it. So
it was great. We had, feeding wise, we had a local organic health store that gave us every week their leftover or their produce that had started to go bad.
Yeah.
I'd go and pick it up, and it'd be anywhere from 2 to 4 boxes, banana boxes full of just food scraps.
Mostly like lettuce and lots of lettuce. Swiss chard.
Yeah. One time she gave me like 25 watermelon.
Yeah.
And the pigs just love it. I mean, you just crack open a watermelon for them every day, and they just...
Yep. So that was a good
wonderful
supplement. And then they were on pasture, and they did root around quite a bit. But I think our pigs got kind of fat and lazy there. And so we did also feed them a supplemental feed that we get at the feed store. Just because you have to, they have to get the protein from somewhere. So we did that, and so we took them October 15th. So we got them in April, and then we butchered them October 15th. And when we butchered them, they were both around 300 pounds. And then, so that was an interesting process. Had a slaughter guy come to the house, and he did the slaughter, which is the kill and the gut and the skin. And then he loaded them up in a trailer, took them to the butcher, and the butcher hung our pig for us. One of the pigs was ours, and one of the pigs was Ingrid's parents. So the butcher hung one of the pigs for us for 5 or 6 days. Yeah. And then I went and picked that pig up.
And you do that just so it just kind of
Stiffens,
relaxes.
yep. It firms up the meat so it's easier to cut, and then it also ages it just a little bit, even though pork doesn't really need to be aged as much as beef. And then I found a friend online who is a trained chef, and he came out, and in our garage on the homestead, he and I butchered our pig and cut it up into chops and
which was amazing.
Roasts, and it was really amazing. We ended up with maybe 2 or 3 handfuls of waste from that butcher, because we used the bones to make pig stock.
Make
bone broth. And
there's weird things, like, so I am given these 4 legs. That sounds
shanks,
kind of brutal, but yes, they're legs.
Yeah, lower part of the leg.
So last night, or a couple days ago, I found a recipe in a cookbook that I had just gotten from the library, and it was about cooking lamb shanks, and I'm like, well, I've got pork shanks. Mm-hmm. So I cooked up this slow did
braise.
It in the
slow braise
Dutch oven in the oven all day, and they were amazing.
Yep, it was really good.
They're really fat. It was really rich. There's a lot of fat. So I wouldn't want to have it every night.
Yeah.
But
nice treat.
In a couple months, I'll be ready for another meal of shanks.
Yeah, exactly.
Now I have a couple head pieces in the freezer.
Yeah.
Those are the other 2 weird things.
Yeah, I have to
figure out how to do a little head cheese.
Yeah. Yeah. So, but Yeah, so this year we're looking at getting 3 pigs, and we potentially will do 4, but we have 3 right now because we're going to do one for us and one for Ingrid's parents again, and then we were hoping to sell 2. And so we've sold 1 pig. Two different families have bought half a pig, so we've sold 1 and looking for another buyer maybe to do another or not. I mean, I'm not. It would be nice to have 4 because it offsets some of our cost, but if we were going to do 3, that's just fine too. So just want to find the buyer before we buy the pig. That's the key. So we're trying that, and then also with the produce, we do have a neat little farm stand in our barn right by the garden. So those are kind of our 2 ways that we've come up with to make money. I mean, I sold a duck, but other than that, we haven't done much. But we've done pretty well with selling the produce. We've sold some eggs, too, when we were getting a bunch of them.
Yeah, eggs are kind of, it's sometimes you have a ton of them and sometimes you don't. So eggs is hard to kind of always have on hand, but definitely we sell them when we have extra.
Yep. So, yeah, thinking about making a little money on the side, but certainly not right now. Looking for the Homestead to take over paying our paychecks.
Yeah, got a ways to go there. But if you are interested in wanting to keep up with us on what's going on, we do have a newsletter. Or what is that? Like an email blast that goes out. Where do people sign?
They can sign up for that on our Facebook page. Okay. Right now we don't have a website, but everything we do goes through our Facebook page, and so we've got a sign up link on the left hand side of our Facebook page for the newsletter. But yeah, Facebook and YouTube are 2 places right now we're posting, and we'll have a website soon enough. But Facebook does a pretty good job of that too. So
so we love having people out to wander the gardens and see what's going on. So sign up for that. And
if you're listening to this in a timely manner and it's still spring of 2016 and you'd like to buy half a pig or a full pig, let us know for sure on Facebook or message us too. Yep. And we'd love to help you out.
Yeah, there's a sell sheet kind of that lists on out Facebook. Kind of how it goes.
Pinned to the top of the Facebook page. So anything else we were going to talk about?
I don't think so. I just wanted to. We'll put these out kind of every once in a while and just let you know what's going on in our world and what we're trying out. So,
thanks for listening.
Until next time, see you guys.